Hello? Can we hear me now? Am I in now? Hang on, let me test this. Can we hear me? Can we? There we go. Okay. So as I was saying before, a power cut happened in my house. It reset my lights, so I was looking extra orange this evening, and it's clearly disconnected my microphone. So I've had to reconnect that manually in OBS. How are we all doing this evening? As I was saying before I got muted, or while I was muted. How are we all doing tonight? Hope we're all doing well. And yes, episode 10 now. Amazing stuff. Let's have a little look through what the live chat is saying. How was everyone's weekend? Hope everyone had a good weekend. I had a good weekend. If you don't follow me on X, I was down in Worcester on Saturday. Beautiful city. Beautiful. Not really a city, but a beautiful place. I loved it. I saw good pieces of English history. Went to the ancient cathedral, the Worcester Cathedral. Beautiful, beautiful place. Huge. The organ was playing. Incredible stuff. But as well, I think it needs to be addressed that there was a Unite the Cultures little event going on. I'm not central, am I? It's a bit more central. I think that's good. And that's good. But yes, there was this Unite the Cultures, Unite Worcester Through Culture thing where, I mean, obviously it was a minority DEI thing because an Indian lady was hosting it, or at least she was the main event, going through Indian cooking and dishes and stuff to a bunch of people in Worcester. And there was literally it was almost empty. There was a few people, but I loved to see that the pieces of British history, the commandery that I went to as well, and the cathedral were packed. They were full of people, and that's just beautiful to see. That is just beautiful to see. I wanted to quickly comment on that, but let's have a little look through the live chat, see what everyone was saying while we were waiting for the show, and then we will get into tonight's topics. Big topics tonight. Andy Burnham became the Prime Minister earlier today and has gone through an absolute purge. Everyone is losing their jobs. The government is going home, and it's a little bit satisfying just to read that David Lammy and Rachel Reeves lost their jobs was beautiful to see. I made a post on X where I said it was responding to the announcement that Andy Burnham had sacked David Lammy from both being the Justice Minister or the Justice Secretary and being the Deputy Prime Minister. I said, thank you, Andy Burnham. Thank you. Be the only good thing he does, but thank you, Andy Burnham. So let's go through and see what everyone is saying before we get into tonight's topics. You really should focus on a career. Oh, career. What do you think this is? Okay. Bro just joined the live to say that it is technically a career because I am getting paid to do this, so who knows. Good evening, Nathan. Good evening, AOD as well. Oh, and then everyone's saying that I was muted. Can't hear everything. There we go. Yes, sound. Good to hear that the volume is okay. Doing good. Worried to see Angela Rayner arrive at 10 Downing Street. Well, apparently she was going to become the new health secretary. I hope not, because there is footage of her looking a little bit on the bigger side in a kayak, tugging on a vape. So who knows? Realistically, I hope she doesn't, ever see being the health secretary. She's most likely just going to return as the deputy prime minister. To be honest, there was a lot of talk back when these rumours first started that Burnham would try and return to Parliament, that they would run a joint ticket to him being the prime minister and her being his deputy. But who knows? Who knows? Hiya, hello, Christina. Hello, Christina. I hope you're okay, T. I can't stop laughing over that hopeless fat O Flammy being that was genuinely. That will be, the week has just started. That will remain the highlight of my week. Seeing Lammy go is is music to, well, it was music to my eyes because I read it. It was good to see. It was good to see. Incredible to see. Thank God Lammy is gone. So it's so true. I'm enjoying the collective Lammy hate. I really am enjoying that. Burnham doing good so far. Tomorrow everything goes downhill. That is true. That is true. Well, I was very surprised to hear that we're going to be going through in a bit what Burnham will mean for the UK, for our nation. I've got an extensive few notes. It's not looking good. Really not looking good, to be honest. But the one good thing that I've seen from him is more North Sea oil drilling. But apparently that was a confusion. What they're just going to try and do is go through. I'm looking a bit too white now. Not that that's a problem. I don't know. I feel like the orange needs to come back a little bit. Little bit of orange, not too orange. How's that? That made no difference. Who cares? I'll fix it for the next show. What was I even saying? Oh yeah, more North Sea oil drilling. But apparently that is just a miscommunication, a bit of confusion, because apparently that just means that he's going to fast track through the current licenses and not actually issue any new licenses. But you know, you get what you're given, I guess. Call me Ank, not AOD. Just a clean. Oh, fair enough. That was Andy's wife with him, or was it his mother? Well, I reposted this. Andy Burnham's a cook. He's actually a cook. So back in 1998, I think, when him and his wife started dating, he gave her consent to go on a blind dating show while they were together. So he's a cook. He's on TV. He's actually cooked. He actually is cooked. And that the first, well, not the first. I think Starmer was most definitely cooked, but you know. No, the big news today is how Ed got his new job role, crazy stuff. Well, at least he's nowhere near the economy anymore. As long as he's nowhere near the functionality of our economics or politics, we can bear with. He's still gonna be in the government, okay. He's still gonna be in the cabinet, okay. Foreign Secretary, how much damage can he do? Realistic, because the missions of this government will be to reapproach the EU. We kind of want the EU. We kind of don't like the EU. We kind of don't want the EU. So if he pisses off the EU because he did a terrible job, who knows? Who knows? Music to your ears. Yeah, it would be. That's the phrase. Music to my ears. But I read it. I didn't hear it. So it's not. It wouldn't be music. It was a good thing to read. It was a pleasant sight, I guess. I don't know. It just came out wrong. Glad to have such a self-respecting prime minister. Then. Oh my days. Oh my days. It will never not. I'm gonna bring that up so many times. We're in for a ride with Burnham. We all thought it was gonna be funny with Starmer. We're in for a ride with Burnham. It's just all gonna be cook jokes. Everything. That's all it's going to be for the next 1 to 2 years. That's how long he's staying in, let's be honest. 1 to 2 years. At least he isn't energy secretary. True. The net zero push did a lot of damage. We've been spending so much money on that for little results. Now, it might come as a shock, but I'm someone who is, well, I would consider myself on the right, would be deemed by others to be on the far right, but I'm actually in support of renewable energy. Not for any of that climate change bullshit, none of that. But I'm in favour of renewable energy because, of energy independence, long-term energy independence. I'm a big advocate for nuclear energy, SMRs, But I don't really care about, as long as it's efficient fuel, I don't really care where it comes from. As long as it's a cheap and efficient, then I don't see a problem. But the net zero way is going about the wrong. You can't subsidize these businesses because you never get anywhere. You have to tactically invest. You invest, get a return, and then you can invest elsewhere. Public public infrastructure, utilities, like tax cuts. You can start doing stuff like that. I don't know. It's just, but Ed Miliband is clearly just an idiot, and of course he would not do well in any form of position of government. But I think he can do the least amount of damage in the foreign secretary. I think that's the baby seat. He's been given the booster seat at the McDonald's table. He's there because they couldn't get a babysitter. Basically, they brought him out to eat. They brought him out to the restaurant. Their baby, because they couldn't get a babysitter. They couldn't afford a babysitter. So he's kind of just sat in the booster seat. No one's really communicating with the baby. No one's really communicating with Miliband. He's just been shoved into that corner and gone, right, you can't do damage in your booster seat. Just go over there and just stay silent for the next year or so. Just shut up. Which, honestly, it's a smart move. It's a smart move. I think Burnham can tell that Miliband is just incredibly unpopular because he is just a clown. Starmer says left the country in a better state. Like, that is the most amount of cope. Actually, someone was doing, some news outlet or something. I think it might have been some economist news outlet was making a tracker of Starmer's economy, and it underperformed. I think he got 36 points out of 100. Massively underperformed. Lackluster, more immigrants in. Well, that's not what they say. That's what I'm saying. Overall, Starmer's government's been terrible. The economy underperformed. We've been stagnating. Taxes have gone up. The tax bans have continued to be frozen. Flip-flopping when it comes to cutting welfare. Trying to take the winter fuel payments away from pensioners. More immigrants. Less deportations, I think. A mockery on the world. He said something like, "Oh, we're a more respected nation on the world stage," and that's just not true. That's just nowhere near true. Everyone hated Starmer. Literally everyone, everywhere, hated Starmer. Besides maybe Anthony Albanese of Australia and Mark Carney of Canada. Besides those two, everyone else hates Starmer. Oh, and Zelensky loves him, of course, because he pays him billions of pounds. So, can't really hate him when he's sucking you like that. Don't get to say stormtroopers as often anymore. I know. Honestly, when he announced his resignation, there was a small part of me deep down that was sad because the memes would go. There would be the return of the sausages. I'm a gooner. Meep meep. It's all gone. It's not happening anymore. There's no more meeps, bro. There's no more sausages. There's no more meeps. We no longer have a gooner prime minister. We don't have a gooner prime minister anymore. We have a cooked prime minister now. So I don't know if that's a good trade-off or a bad trade-off, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Thomas has already increased the international aid budget. We will be talking about that soon, but it does not spell good news. It does not spell good news. John Healey's been rewarded for helping to out Starmer with a top job. That is true. I was looking, actually, when I saw that announcement. I said on it, because that is an odd pick. I would not have predicted that in a million years. Then I thought, well, I don't actually know that much about John Healey. So I started looking into his past, his credentials, and all of that. And it's like, this guy is not qualified. This guy is not fit to be Chancellor. He has a very loose background in, forensic accounting. No experience when it comes to CFO or banking or anything like that. His specialty is financial dispute resolution. How are you running the economy? How is he going to? I don't know. Well, we'll be talking about that in a bit. But yeah, I've had a decent weekend. My weight loss is going well. Lost 24 kilograms now in 5 months. And considering I can't exercise with this disease, I'm going really well. Should be healthy by 2028. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear some people's fitness grinds are doing well. I personally am trying to gain weight, and I'm struggling. I really am struggling. Which, it's not. I'm hoping, because I do have a fast metabolism. I do eat a lot of food. I mean, for someone, I mean, some of my mates weigh 10 kilograms above me, and I eat way more than they do, and I'm struggling. Okay, I'm struggling. I'm hoping now that I'm 18 and an adult now that soon that metabolism will go away, and I can gain a bit of weight, so I'm not, you know, like a stick bug. But who knows? Who knows? Steak and Guinness will help, Thomas. I eat a lot of steak and drink. I don't drink Guinness. I drink Corona personally. I'm more of a Corona guy. But I am going to Ireland soon, so I will be definitely trying some Guinness then. More news on that because I'll be gone for a good few days, so there won't be. I think I'll have to cancel one show, and there probably won't be any to many videos, and not up to spec. I obviously won't be here at the studio. I won't be here at the setup. I'll be out and about. So who knows? I'll have to think about it in depth and then give a bit of an announcement on that. But yes, we have given it a good amount of time. We've got a few people in, a few people chatting. So we will be getting into our first topic of the evening. Andy Burnham becomes the 59th Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, our 7th Prime Minister in 10 years. So to kind of introduce this new government, we're not going to be talking about Burnham yet, or my apologies, my direct thoughts on Burnham. We're going to be quickly going through the major current that I know of cabinet reshuffles, just checking my notifications. And no, I don't have any new notifications on any new cabinet appointments. So first and foremost, the most important news of the evening. We've already spoken about it, but I will briefly mention it just in case you are late coming in, but I'm sure you've seen it anyway. Andy Burnham has sacked David Lammy as the Deputy Prime Minister and Justice Secretary. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. It is much, much appreciated. It is much appreciated. And of course, we've just said this a second ago, but John Healey, the former Defence Secretary, well, not the last Defence Secretary, but the former one for the majority of Starmer's term, but he did resign towards the end of Starmer's term due to problems when it came to funding with the armed forces. Healey said that there just wasn't enough funding being allocated to defence, so he resigned because he couldn't do his job properly. But now he has been made the new Chancellor of the Exchequer. But he has incredibly low credentials, like I mentioned a second ago, not going into it too much because I've already discussed it a little bit. But John Healey has incredibly low credentials when it comes to being the Chancellor. He has no history when it comes to banking, being a CFO, or anything like that would actually come under or would be useful to becoming the Chancellor. But instead, his past and his credentials mostly focus on financial dispute resolution. Yeah, I don't know if he's qualified to be running the economy, but then again, I don't know if Burnham's qualified to be running the country, but there we go. And speaking of not being qualified, Ed Miliband has been made Andy Burnham's new Foreign Secretary. But of course, the hope is that, well, in my opinion, that's where Miliband can do the least amount of damage. He has no executive power when it comes to the economy, the way the economy is run, energy, anything like that. He is just simply the Foreign Secretary. He can't do too much damage. So there's hope. There's hoping. Not there's hope, there's hoping. Because there is no hope. I can't lie, I am blackpilling over this Burnham government. I am blackpilling incredibly hard. But surprisingly, the almost saving grace of these picks is Shabana Mahmood remains the Home Secretary. Now, I think it's interesting how a ethnically Pakistani Muslim woman is probably the most right-wing Labour MP we have in Parliament. She is by far the main one talking about cutting down illegal immigration, cutting down where asylum seekers can stay, extending the amount of time before you can claim ILR. She has done some stuff to reverse not reverse, but to bring down net immigration. So honestly, if someone was, I don't know too much about every single Labour MP who's the most right wing, who hates immigrants the most. Who knows? I'm not sure on that. But based off evidence, I can say that Shabana Mahmood is probably the least progressive pick that Burnham could have made. Now, of course, Burnham was expected to be quite a progressive guy when it came to immigration. A lot on the left, a lot of Green members were hoping that Andy Burnham would reverse some of the changes made against immigrants, and there was even talks that he would change the amount of time to claim ILR back down to 5 years. But it's hard to see that happening with Shabana Mahmood as Home Secretary. No, I'm not saying that Shabana Mahmood is the next Oswald Mosley. Now, I'm not saying she's going to start mass deporting everyone. We're going to get extensive mass full remigration. I'm not saying that. We're never going to get that. We're not even deporting people at this point. We're never going to get that either. But she is making a few steps in the right... She's made a baby size 3 step in the general right direction. And you got to take a win where it is. You got to take a... Look on the bright side, okay? Look on the bright side. We have to take a win where there is one. We are down and out, boys. We are down and out right now. We need to take a win where we can get one. So this appointment, honestly, for Labour, it's maybe the best that could have happened. But you know, then again, she is a Muslim and she isn't ethnically British. She doesn't even think that the ethnic British race even exists. She has spoke about how her and fellow immigrants are coming over and taking over and all that in an interview. I made a video on that a little while ago, but you know, it's the best we're getting. Okay, don't get greedy. This is the best that we're getting, and so you might bear with me when I'm pronouncing this name. I'm not great when it comes to pronouncing names, so bear with, but Louise Hay? Hang on, then again, I don't, I'm just going to type the name in chat in case I'm saying it wrong. Louise Hay. I believe Louise Hay. So, Louise Hay, a convicted fraudster, I believe she was convicted in 2014, but Louise Hay, a convicted fraudster, has been appointed the first Secretary of State, which is it's basically being de facto Deputy Prime Minister. He's not announced as Deputy Prime Minister, but this position is pretty much de facto Deputy. This is one of, if not the most senior position in the cabinet, besides the Premiership itself. He's also appointed her the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster and as well the Minister of the Cabinet. So we now also have a convicted fraudster in the Cabinet. This is just... Thank you, Andy Burnham. Thank you, Andy Burnham. This is a relatively, on the whole, so far, dog shit lineup. I'll be the first to say it. This is bad. When you have an ethnically Pakistani Muslim woman as the best pick of the bunch, we're done. We are done for, bro. Lads. Pack it up. We are actually done for. A convicted fraudster. Come on, Anyway, to not get hung up on that, we will be moving on to my thoughts on Burnham himself. Now, I've made quite a few videos. I made a mini-series and a few shorts on what I think that a Burnham premiership would look like and just how bad I think it would be for the country, how much he would actually be able to get through, and the likes. I think it's going to be a generational flop. I do think it's going to be a generational flop. He has pulled 1 or 2 blinders. He announced, so there's off and on announcements that we will be getting more, or at least fast-tracked, North Sea oil drilling. Christ. No, more North Sea oil drilling, which is good. I'm in favour. I like that. Probably not to the extent that Burnham is proposing. I'm guessing he's not going to do it that extensively. But hey, again, take a win where you can get one, lads. We are pretty, we're pretty. It's not looking good. We'll put it like it's not looking good. So take a win where you can get one. So that's a good thing. And he's announced he is scrapping the government's digital ID scheme. So at first glance, maybe we're moving away from Labour's time of censorship, and maybe we're moving away from draconian censorship laws, and maybe the right wing will survive. Maybe we won't be jailed. Maybe we'll actually make it through this term to either a Reformed Conservative coalition government or whatever comes in 2029 or the next general election at least. But that has changed very quickly when Andy Burnham made a former senior member of Hope Not Hate as his, and I quote, a director of political strategy. So, to give you the facts of the story, just to quickly read here. So, former Director of Campaigns and Communications at Hope Not Hate, Matthew McGregor, has been appointed the Director of Political Strategy for Burnham's government. Now, if you're not sure what Hope Not Hate is, they are basically a radical left-wing organisation that, charades as a charity organisation, a progressive Hope Not Hate charity organisation will donate to progressive political campaigns and help people. But what they actually do is they leak and dox right-wing individuals, prominent right-wing individuals. They also release an annual report called the State of Hate, where they rank in I actually quite like Lander's take on Hope Not Hate. He said that, or the State of Hate at least, he said that the State of Hate felt like a hit list. It's structured like a hit list. So if you don't know what the State of Hate is, it's basically a ranking of the most right-wing, fascist, neo-Nazi people that are currently operating in the UK. So they go through the main far-right individuals, name them, list them, say what they do, say what they advocate for, all of that, and then they rank them. They go through and they rank them in what does feel like a bit of a hit list. And, their members have been known to dox people. I'm pretty sure high up in the leadership has been known to dox people on the right, try and ruin their lives, and even Hope Not Hate or groups like Hope Not Hate in France, or was it Antifa? No, it was Antifa. Never mind, I'm talking out my arse. It was Antifa, not Hope Not Hate. But this doesn't spell good news. We were all, I personally was celebrating at the fact that Burnham had said, no more digital ID. Now, whether you believe that or not, you again, take a win where you can get one. But I took a win where I could get one. I was like, you know what, fair play. I'm happy that we are not getting digital ID. And then, I was thinking, well, maybe we won't get these draconian censorship laws. Maybe my YouTube channel will stop being suppressed. Maybe, we'll get back on track. Maybe people stop being doxxed, arrested, all the likes. But no. Hope Not Hate has been, or a senior member of Hope Not Hate has been appointed to the Director of Political Strategy. So if you don't know what that position is, Burnham will then go to Matthew McGregor for political advice. So someone who was a senior member, a very high up member in an organisation, a radical left-wing organisation that doxes and, exposes and pins right-wing dissidents up to dry, to basically put a massive target on their backs and go, hey, this person's the next Hitler. Go and do what you want with them. Hey, maybe we'll dox this person, who knows? So we are in for, honestly, it's going to be worse. I'm going to be frank. It's going to be so much worse. The arrests are going to ramp up, most likely. There will be more doxings from Hope Not Hate. Hope Not Hate will be emboldened. More of these counter-racist, anti-racist, whatever they masquerade to be, kind of woke, DEI, radical left-wing organisations will be out and be emboldened. They will be out on the streets. we'll probably see a lot more political violence, and it will not be the right's fault. But then when there is going to be political violence, we will see that the media and Burnham himself and his government will most likely blame us, the right, for these violent attacks, these violent unrest. It's like we saw the same with the UTK, the United Kingdom rally in London a few months ago. There was some violence. Most of it was started off by the counter-racist or anti-racist or stand-up to racism counter-protesters. They actually initiated a lot of the violence, a lot of the aggression, but the UTK protesters and Tommy Robinson were blamed. And of course, the media tried to frame it as one of the most violent protests ever. Oh, we're living in terrible times. The far right are taking over. It's like the battle for Cable Street all over again. But then, what was it? This pro-Palestinian march had literally hundreds of violent instances. There were even a few sexual assaults in there as well. And UTK had 20 violent instances. So it's going to get worse. It's going to get so much worse. The left are going to be emboldened. And of course, something I forgot to mention about Hope Not Hate, someone that was in their State of Hate report in 2026 was none other than Anne Widdecombe, painting her out to be this homophobic, vile creature that hated gay people, wanted to take away their rights, and actually and all this stuff, that she's a monster and all that. And then when she was murdered and found to be murdered by someone with communist literature in their house, guess what they did? They removed her article from the State of Hate report. Because they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. You can't even say it's an accident. Hope Not Hate released a State of Hate address or report labelling Anne Widdecombe, this 78-year-old or 77-year-old at the time lady who was retired from frontline politics, is a spokesperson for something in reform, saying all this stuff, and about 20, 30 years ago opposed a bunch of gay rights laws, said that gay people could be cured and homosexuality was a disease. And now, all these years later, now that she's not saying that anymore, now you're painting her out, this old innocent woman. She's a vile homophobe. Oh, she's all this. She's a monster. She's a creature. She's a vile woman. And then when she gets killed by a supposed far-left radical with communist literature in his home, they remove her article from the State of Hate 2026. So if that is not spelling out you know what you're doing, you are covering up the evidence, I don't know what is. What else could that be? Am I insane? Am I insane? Anyone else in the chat anyone in the live chat agree with me? That is an admission of guilt. That is an admission of guilt. When you withdraw something like that, that is absolutely an admission of guilt. They know what they're doing. They are inciting violence by going, hey, see this list of people here? They're all the next Hitler. They're all going to try and take away gay rights and exterminate gay people, and they're fascists and neo-Nazis and monsters. They're going to ruin the UK. They're going to ruin our progressive multicultural state. Oh, a few of our members might know where they live. A few of our members might leak where they live. Don't do anything about that. Oh, we'll tell you which one's the worst one for it. We'll give you a list. We'll give you who's highest top 10 biggest bigots and racists in the country. Don't go and hurt them. It's like, what? What? How can anyone not see what is going on? How can anyone not see exactly what Hope Not Hate is? Exactly what Hope Not Hate are going for, which is the incitement of violence, the implication of violence, or exposing the far right, which will then lead to violence, or the way that they are exposing us will lead to violence. How anyone can believe that the way that they are doing it and conducting themselves does not incite violence and has actually now resulted in a woman's death. A mom has been killed. A family member has been killed. An innocent lady has been killed. Someone who served her country for decades has been killed. That's the end of the day. Doesn't matter whether she's Tory, Reform, Labour. Who cares? Who cares? She tried to do her best by her country. All you can ask for when it comes to politics, all you can ask for. Whether you agree or disagree, then there were certain parts with Anne Widdecombe that I disagreed with, and I'm sure there's parts of my politics that Anne Widdecombe would disagree with. But who cares? That's someone's mom. That's someone's grandma. Like, I don't know if she was a nan. That's someone's nan. That's someone's family member. That's an innocent woman, and she's been killed. I would argue, due to organisations like Hope Not Hate trying to paint her out as this homophobic, radical, racist, homophobic bigot who was a vile creature, and if she went away, no one would notice. I think they did say that, but it's strongly implied. But I don't know. But anyways, I went on a little bit of a rant, but that's who Anne wasn't a mom. I could have swore she was a mom. I need to look this up. Did Anne Widdecombe have any relatives, children, or that sort? I could have swore she was a mom. Parents and a brother, but never married and never had children. Fair play, I've been bested. Thank you for correcting me on that, John. But that's someone's wife. That's someone's, well, raising that child at that point. But that's someone's mom. But either way, the actions taken by Hope Not Hate, the way that they have painted out Anne Widdecombe, and other like-minded organisations like Hope Not Hate have painted out Anne Widdecombe, has resulted in her murder by a radical left-wing extremist. No other way to paint that. But a senior member of this dreadful organisation is now the director of political strategy for our new Prime Minister. So, folks, ladies and gentlemen, it is only going to get worse. The censorship is going to get worse. The arrests are going to get worse. The crackdown on right-wing dissidents is going to get worse. But of course, that is not the only bad things about Burnham. There's actually quite a few things here that I have listed down. I was thinking earlier today, while I was bored and had nothing else to do, I was just compiling thoughts on, well, my thoughts on Burnham, and I have a few things listed down here. So we're gonna rattle through my thoughts on him real quick. This segment has been quite long, actually. About half an hour, I believe this segment has been. So we'll rattle through the rest of my thoughts, talk to you guys for a bit, and then talk about the immigration cover-up. So I find, now I have no idea if anyone else feels the same way, but Andy Burnham feels incredibly performative. He didn't have a lectern while he was there. When he gave his speech, or his first address as being Prime Minister, there wasn't a lectern. They had to take out the lectern before he could walk out. Oh, I'm not talking from a lectern. I'm so different. It's such a break from the norm. He's announced, I'm not gonna wear a suit and tie outside of Parliament. I'm a normal guy. Trust me. He's going for runs with Mo Farah, and he's doing interviews in soup kitchens or whatever and stuff like that. And it all just feels really forced. Excuse me. I'm sweating, can you tell? I'm glistening. Oh, I'm glistening. But it all just feels really performative, really forced and really performative. I don't know, he's trying his hardest not to be a politician, not to look like a politician, but it's obvious he is one. Come on, he's been a political operator his entire life at this point, or for the vast majority of his life. So let's stop pretending. Just get in front of the lectern, wear a suit and tie, who cares? Or at least if you're going to, don't make it so painful. We're announcing it, or your team is leaking it. Oh, Andy Burnham's not going to be wearing a suit and tie outside of Parliament. Did you hear? Did you hear what Burnham's team has just leaked? The latest news from Burnham's team. He's not going to be wearing a suit and tie outside of Parliament. He's just like you and me. He's just like you and me. He must genuinely take us for ants. He must genuinely think that we are ants. The IQ level of ants. He genuinely must think that, because there's no way that someone's going to look and go, "Wow, he's not delivering that address in front of a lectern. Wait, he's not wearing a shirt and tie. He's got a blazer on and just a regular shirt. Wow, he's not going to be wearing a suit and tie outside of Parliament. He's so different. Oh my God, we're gonna have Manchester North or number 10 North in Manchester. Oh my days." And it's like, just shut the fuck up and run the country. Just shut up and run the country. Just ruin the country already. Okay, we all know what's coming. Let's just skip to the end. Okay, let's just skip to the end. Just do a Liz Truss. Just wreck the country and leave. Just let's just speedrun. Do it quicker than Liz Truss did. Let's just speedrun this thing. 27 days. Crash the economy, the bond markets. Let's get inflation up as well. What else can we do? Let's hike interest rates at the same. Well, yeah, let's hike in for shits and giggles. We'll hike interest rates, say a bunch of shit. Let's just crash the economy. Let's just do it. Okay, you know what? 5% income tax rate for every tax band. Let's just increase it. Let's just get that up. Do that in 27 days. Resign and go. Just go away. Don't put the suit and tie on, bro. Put on the suit. Put on the tie. Get in front of the lectern. Ruin the country and just go. Just get out, okay? We all know what's going to happen. We all know what's going on. Just shut up and just do it. Don't be. He is genuinely we have a performative male and a cuck leading the country. Can you believe? Can you believe what it's gotten to? Can you? No democratic mandate. Most performative man in British politics, probably besides Nigel Farage, but one of the most performative men in British politics, and he's a cock. We are 3 for 3. We are 3 for 3 at this point. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else feels the same way. Yes, good point. He's very performative about the fact he supports football as well. He's all, I love football. Look at me at this football game. I'm watching the World Cup. Look at all this. It's like, come on, dude. Shut up. Come on. He is genuinely, I dropped something, give me a second. But he's genuinely the most performative Prime Minister I've seen in a very long time. Okay? He is dreadful. He is dreadful. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way. That he is just a chameleon. He's just a performative man. I don't even know who Andy Burnham is. Who is the real Andy? Can the real Andy Burnham reveal himself, please? I'd love to know him. I'd love to get to know him, because the current guy, it just isn't him. It can't be him. It's either that or he is actually just a pretentious prick. It's either or, to be honest. Neither's good. One's more in line with the British Prime Minister, but you know. But anyway, enough ranting about how he presents himself. Of course, as well, Andy Burnham announced that foreign aid spending will be rising from 0.2% of GDP to 0.7%. So this is already spelling bad news, okay? We're already spending more of our money on foreign interests. We're going to be sending more money to Ukraine, more money to Africa that we've been spending money on. We've spent billions on Africa, and it's not got any better. So surely, can someone intelligent stand up and go, you know what? We've spent billions on Africa, and nothing's happened. Maybe the money won't fix it. Maybe let's just take it. Hey, let's just take a second and think, maybe the Africans' lack of money isn't the problem. Have we considered that? Because, I mean, if I was running a country and it was dirt poor and the UK started sending me billions of pounds, I could probably turn it around in 10 years. I probably could get the ball rolling. I think the average person could. Let's be honest. I even think Keir Starmer, Even Keir Starmer could do that. Even Keir Starmer could take literally billions of pounds from a foreign nation and run Zimbabwe and make it better. But it's not happening. So maybe we have to face reality and go, hey, maybe the lack of money over there isn't the problem. Maybe it's the warlord states. Maybe it's other reasons that I probably can't say on YouTube. But you gotta think, okay, maybe we should stop. Maybe we should stop. I think we gave it a go. Valiant effort. Maybe we can stop sending money to Africa. Okay, maybe we should do that. But if you've watched the show before, if you tuned into any of my videos before, I am firmly in favour of cutting permanently and outlawing and banning all foreign aid. Okay, British money earned in Britain for the British people. That's the cycle. That's the economy. British people working in British jobs, making money, paying tax to the British government, making and spending that money in Britain, and then that tax money that we make will then be spent accordingly by the government in the interests of the British state and peoples. I don't think it's in our interests to send a bunch of money to Uganda to plant trees. I don't think it's in our interests to send billions to Ukraine, who clearly are just ungrateful. I'm an idiot. Who clearly are very ungrateful. They're just demanding more and more from us. More money, more drones. Rejoin the EU. It'll benefit Ukraine more. That's what he said, by the way. Rejoin the EU so we can get a stronger, unified European defence for Ukraine. Oh, Reform Council should put their Ukrainian flags back up because that will do so much for the war effort. Shut up. Okay, ban Zelensky. You are outlawed from entering the UK. No more foreign aid. Simple. It's gone. It's all gone. So don't rise it. Don't rise it, actually ban it. So I think that does really spell out the priorities of the Burnham government. I suppose the economy is going to go down the drain. He's not going to be able to cut welfare enough to fund his plans of massive investment, public interest boards being put in place on private utility companies. Any of what he's planning to do, which will be very costly, he will not be able to fund properly. More immigration, legal and illegal, massive spending without properly being funded, so we're probably going to see a bigger deficit, more debts, and then, of course, the foreign aid rise. So it's not looking good. It's not looking good. And the cherry on top is Burnham's pro-Israel history. Okay, so he has stated multiple pro-Israel things in the past. He was a massive advocate for Israel back in 2015. During the 2015 Labour leadership contest, he was bragging about how Israel would be the first country he visited if he became the leader of the Labour Party and then Prime Minister. So it's not looking good. We are probably going to get more Zionist, Jewish influence on our government. We want less, not more. We want none, not more, realistically. That's what I am advocating for. Less, none, not more. But anyways, getting on to what the live chat thinks about all of that. So, scrolling back up. Where did we get off to? Whoa, Nick Smith with the $5 super chat. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nick. Pub food will get you fat. I love pub grub. I love it. I eat a lot of it. I'm still not fat. I'm still skinny. It's just, honestly, I don't get the problem. I don't understand the problem. It's just simple. I don't know. I really don't understand the problem. I would have thought pub food will get me fat. It hasn't. I'm genuine. I'm trying my best. I am actually trying my best when it comes to trying to gain weight. But thank you, Nick, for the $5 super chat. It's greatly appreciated. Not sacked, just demoted to the backbench. Well, he's been sacked from the position, his cabinet position. That's the official terminology that the news uses. That's the official terminology. He was sacked from his role as deputy prime minister and as the justice secretary. I'm assuming you're talking about Lammy. Anyway, she has delayed net immigration until Labour can take full control. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. She is massively. It's delaying tactics. It's just slowing down our ethnic, racial, and cultural replacement. It's all it's doing. I mean, net immigration isn't in the negatives. People aren't leaving that much. People aren't being deported. We're not getting mass deportations or anything like that. But there's just less people coming, which one can appreciate. I want less people coming personally, so one can appreciate it. Who's in charge of bringing in the next batch of rent boys? Oh. She talks a good fight. Let's see what happens. Still a lot of immigration. Don't get me wrong. Still more immigration than what we want. But who knows? Who knows? Mosleyites rise up. Let's get. Which one's more fitting? Which one's more fitting for this instance? The Union flag cap or the Restore Britain cap? Which one is a more fitting for the Mosleyites rise up sentiment? I feel like, is it? We'll go. We'll go. We'll go. We'll make the clip. So Mosleyite, absolutely Mosleyites rise up. Union flag. We think okay. No, overruled. We're thinking the Union flag for Mosley. This is honestly, it's a great cap. I love it. I picked this up in Liverpool when I was celebrating my 18th birthday. Absolute steal. Incredible cap, incredible. But yes, Mosleyites rise, rise up. We live in a period in which politicians are not very popular, and believe me, you have my sympathy. Politicians are regarded as people who have learned to talk but not to act. Quote from Oswald Mosley. Ank is underappreciated, okay? Ank is underappreciated. Can we get a W Ank somewhere in the chat? An 07 perhaps? W Ank, come on. Gotta love that guy. Gotta love that guy. Dropping Oswald Mosley quotes in the chat. You gotta love that guy. Nathan Bayliss? Nathan Bayliss, I believe that's how you pronounce that name. I'll just call you Nathan for now. Thank you so much for the £1.50 super chat. Greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for helping and supporting. Hope not hate is full of hate. It is, but hate for us. Hate for the right. Hate for us. Thomas, I know you want Restore Britain to win in 2029, but unfortunately Reform will win in 2029 because Restore Britain will not get enough votes. No, I'm under the same impression. I want Restore to win, but the most likely outcome I can see right now is that a Reform Conservative coalition takes place. I don't think Restore will win. The aim is not to win the next election for me. The goal, get as many votes as possible and win as many seats as possible. That's the goal. Get as many patriots, get as many ethno-nationalists into Parliament as possible. Actually, very interesting. I have a video coming up on, I believe, Wednesday, where I'll be giving my official endorsement for the Clacton-on-Sea by-election. So stay tuned for that. If you follow me on X, you will already know who it is. Great guy. But yeah, that'll be coming up on Wednesday, I believe. Full video on why and who. But yeah, I'm under the impression that we just need to win as many seats as possible. Build as big of a true nationalist presence in Parliament as humanly possible. That is what my time is dedicated to. That's why I'm with Restore Britain, because I believe Restore Britain is the best vehicle we have right now of achieving that. Even though Rupert Lowe is not an ethno-nationalist, Who wouldn't? No one really. No one would have thought that Rupert Lowe was genuinely a hardcore, you know, ethno-nationalist. No one would have ever thought that. But Restore Britain is the best vehicle. We just need to. We're not going to win. People who are saying that, oh, we're going to win. When Restore Britain wins 2039, it's not gonna happen. Okay, I want it to happen, and you know what? Reform weren't going to win the next general election in late 2024, early 2025, but now they're very heavily on track to do so. So who knows? Who knows what could happen? That is the realistic answer. Who knows what could happen? But the goal, the mission, get as many votes as possible, hopefully get millions of votes, win as many seats as possible. And if we win the election, we win the election. Who's going to complain? But you gotta be realistic. That's the thing. You gotta be realistic. Hi everyone. Hi Thomas. I hope you and your family are doing well. Thank you. Yes, me and my family are doing well. I hope you and your family are doing well as well. And hello. Is that the guy that made a fake acid attack? Who? Are you talking about Hope Not Hate? I'm not. I think at this point everyone else in the chat is talking about Hope Not Hate at this point. So I'm guessing that's what he's talking about. I have no idea. I don't know, to be honest. That one, Hope Not Hate guy, is going to be the main trouble of Andy Burnham cabinet. He's going to be yeah. He is the problem for us, mainly. He is the big problem for us. Hate Not Hope, more like true. They're clearly guilty. They are. They really are. Of course they know, but the scary thing to me is that these people they incite violence on are regularly tame compared to the general online right. Compared. Yeah, the people that are actually being targeted mainly. I mean, of course, I'm not saying anyone should be targeted, but there, people like. No, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, no one should be targeted under this whole state of hate report thing, especially not some innocent old woman. Leave her alone, man. Leave her alone. Murder is murder either way. That is true. All I know about Anne is that she had a really good speech and that she was in an episode of Doctor Who. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, she is. I don't know much about her. Of course, I found out about her first when she joined Reform. I did a little bit of research and stuff when she joined Reform to begin with. But yeah, she seemed like a nice human being in general. It's a real tragedy to see, and it's definitely it's tragedy as well that it's been incited or at least encouraged by Hope Not Hate, and no one really seems to be talking about that. No one is pointing fingers or blaming anyone like there would be if this was a right-wing terror attack. If there was a right-wing person who went out and assassinated a left-wing prominent or progressive individual, that would be everywhere. Who incited? Whose fault is it? Reform incited it. Restore. Whoever. They would be pointing fingers. But now that it's Hope Not Hate with Anne Widdecombe, we don't know what the motivation could be. We're ruling it. We're currently not treating it as political, and then the next day the terrorist police come in and take over the investigation. So ridiculous. We'll skip forward a little bit so we get a few more recent chats. You may fill out with age T. Well, actually, the older I've gotten, the skinnier I've gotten. That's the problem. I used to be a big baby. I was a big, not big. I wasn't fat. But I was stocky, short and stocky. Let's say that. Bit tubby. Not tubby. That's unfair to me and my parents. But I was bigger. But then I didn't really seem to fill out. I've just grown. I mean, I'm like 6 foot. I'm 6 foot, edging 6 foot maybe by a fraction of an inch. But I'm 6 foot, and I've not really filled out at all. I don't know. I'm hoping at some point my metabolism will just drop, and I will gain weight relatively easily. But who knows? Americans are sacrificing their lives for their country, but in reality they are dying for Israel. It's Israel's war. They're not dying for America because it's not within America's interest to go to war with Iran. In no way is it within. I mean, especially with the way that this war has ended up being, that it's been turned into probably the biggest forever war in US history because literally no side can pull out. Whenever some kind of memorandum of understanding, some pause in fighting, some ceasefire, some peace deal comes about, someone breaks it. Either Israel breaks it, the US breaks it because of something of what Iran's done, or Iran breaks it because of what Israel is doing in Lebanon, or whatever. Whatever the deal is, this war isn't going to end. It isn't going to end anytime soon because neither side can politically, neither side has the political capital to end the war. So America has gone in for a forever war in Iran that is completely against all of their interests, all of their political and economic interests, because it has skyrocketed fuel prices, and the American public hate high prices at the pump. They would obviously, because of that, punish the government, the Republicans, at the midterms. The Democrats are probably going to win the midterms. So it's within no way. You can't give me a reason, a legitimate, valid reason, for why the US government would want to go into this war against Iran without Israel being involved. It's just they are keeping Israel happy. They are doing Israel's bidding. It's Israel's war. It's within Israel's interests. So they wouldn't do it themselves. So they get their puppet to do it with them. That's the simple truth. And with Burnham's pro-Israel past, I will not put it past him to do something along a similar line. Not saying he's going to declare war now on any Middle Eastern state or whatever. He's going to invade or start bombing Lebanon or Syria or whatever. But I do think he will start acting, or at least the government may have a chance of acting in a more pro-Israel stance. That is because the progressive side of the political establishment now in the UK has shifted away from Israel more towards Palestine and Muslims. The left aren't really for Jews anymore. The left don't really care so much about Jews. They still care about anti-Semitism and all of that. They still hate far-right anti-Semitism. They detest it and stuff. But they aren't so big on Israel anymore. So it would be politically toxic to Burnham's own brand if he did start supporting Israel. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Restore right now? Yeah, absolutely. Who said both? When I was asking, oh, which cap should I wear? And then people were saying, oh, the Union flag. Most people saying the Union flag cap. Who said both? Super MK. Both. Seriously? Okay. Both fantastic. Both hats are fire. No one can even dispute how fire the caps are. They're both. I love them both. Okay. So I'm gonna need a cap when I go to Ireland, but I don't think I can get by with wearing this one. What do you guys think? Do I wear this cap to Ireland and potentially not come home? What do we think? Is Ireland suitable? I'm thinking no. You might start a fad if you wear both. Maybe. But then again, I can't actually wear both because if you look, the main point of the cap is here. So if I wear one over the other, it hides the point of one of the caps. So I feel like you can't viably wear both. I don't know. If you wear that to Ireland, you'll come home in a body bag. Wear a normal cap. Yeah, I'm starting to think the same thing. I don't want to get pipe bombed. Joking. I can't be saying this before going to Ireland. I actually can't. I can't be doing this stuff. I can't be doing this, man. This is not a good idea. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe this isn't a good idea. I'll have to try and fish out a normal cap that I have somewhere, because the Union flag cap will not fly. That shit will not fly in the Emerald Isle. Look better without a cap. Really? You think that? Ireland got some Semtex left over for you. And yeah, they'll be using that if I wear that cap. Good shout. Good shout. I was thinking it was a no anyway, but I thought I would consult you guys anyway. I done that thing where it reset the chat again. Where were we? I don't wear caps at the moment, trying to see how wavy / curly my hair gets, and caps ruin them. Caps really do flatten the hair down. That's one thing. That's one downside to wearing a cap. If I'm wearing a cap, if it's sunny and I'm wearing a cap, I wear the cap the day. Okay, I wear the cap the day while I'm out. When I was canvassing for Restore in Great Yarmouth, this was on the whole time. The whole time, not until I got back to the car, took the cap off, and fixed the hair. But yeah, it's definitely a downside. It's definitely a downside. But I do like a good cap. I do like a good cap. Love Mosley got 3 of his books, but my dyslexia has other ideas about reading them out. I'm interested. I was when I was growing up, I was interested in Mosley's story. I was very interested in the British right wing or far right or whatever you want to deem it. But I was very interested in that space growing up, of course, because I started to form my own opinions at that point. I was probably starting to research into this at around about the same time. That I started looking into modern politics and started to form my own viewpoints on when it comes to immigration, the government, Brexit. Brexit was a big one for me. Brexit was probably the thing that red pilled me, to be honest. Brexit was probably the main thing that woke me up to that side of arguing and thinking of national sovereignty, of combating immigration, economic independence, all of that. That kind of thought process really started to red pill me. And then, so when I started looking at history, I started looking at figures like Oswald Mosley and stuff like that in the past of the British right. So I am very interested in Mosley's story, his work. I would be interested in buying a book, maybe. If there's any book recommendations for Oswald Mosley, let me know. Get audiobook. Yeah, I would also probably get an audiobook. I'm not dyslexic or ADHD, if you even want to go there. I'm not any of that, but I find if I read to myself, I get distracted too easily and like lose focus. That makes sense. So I'll read a page, and then I'll read another 2 pages, but I was thinking about something while going through those 2 pages, so none of the information actually stuck in. So I'd have to go back and reread, and it takes me forever to get through a book because I keep getting distracted by stuff or whatever. So I do have to, if I'm going for long term or big reading or stuff like that in one sitting, and I can't read out loud. Reading out loud helps me to fix that. But you know, an audiobook, if there's people around, I'm also not going to start reading out loud because who does that? who does that? But yeah, I would get audio. I probably would use an audio book. But if any book recommendations, let me know. I'm interested. Again, no American wants this war. It's against the interest of Americans. The only Americans that want this war are either Jews, like Ben Shapiro, or the likes of that, or they are funded by Jews, or are funded by AIPAC, or they have major Jewish donors. Those are the people that want this. Laura Loomer, that like of people. I mean, Donald Trump, he is funded quite a bit by Jewish sources, by Jewish money. So it's not the only people in America that want this war are either brainwashed by the Jews, are Jewish, or are funded by the Jews. If you aren't getting the trend yet, then maybe take a break from politics. Maybe sit this one out. If you're not grasping that, maybe sit this one out. Hi chat. Hello. wear a normal cap? Yeah, I'm thinking so. Look better without a cap. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hang on. Does restore badges exist? I have no idea. Is your hair more curly or wavy? What do we think? I feel like I've been told my barber thinks it's quite curly. I mean, my hair is so curly, I have to get it like thinned at the barber to it just clumps and looks terrible. But I would argue that my hair is more curly than wavy, to be honest. I don't know. You have to let me know what you think. Shave your hair into a Union flag design, then wear the Restore one. Do you want me to get blown up? Do you want me to get assassinated? Because if so, I mean, if I wanted to, I'd do that. No, that is quite funny, to be fair. Bitter Harvest, The Great Betrayal by Ian Smith, the last Prime Minister of Rhodesia. A good read for a more recent account of the wrongs against the British civilization. Rhodesia is a very interesting story to me. That is a good example. I think that is a good example of what is going to happen to the UK if we continue on our current trajectory. My family was uncomfortable with me liking Mosley, but after I showed them what he actually stood for and not what they thought, they were more comfortable with it. Yeah, my family weren't comfortable when I first dropped the news. Hey guys, I think I like Mosley. I don't think that news didn't drop well. But my family have learned to accept me for who I am. No, I'm just kidding. My family are widely acceptive of my opinions. I think the more interested I got in politics, the more my family has, and of course, the more that they look into it, the more red pill they get on certain issues. Like, well, actually, why are we sending? I mean, a few months ago, my parents, or at least my mom, would be like, "Oh, she's very pro-Ukraine, anti-Trump. I don't agree with Trump cutting aid to Ukraine and all that." And now the other day she was like, "Why are we sending so much money to Ukraine? Ban, get spending gone." And I'm like, "Right, this is what I'm saying." But no, it's good to see. I think if you just have an open discussion with your parents and get them to look into the news in an unbiased way, that is a good way to red pill them. That is a good way to get them on board. I mean, of course, they're not to the extent of, they're watching Mosley speeches. They're not, screaming in the living room that England lives and marches on and all that type of stuff. But, it's close enough. The three books I have: Hurrah for the Black Shirts, The Greater Britain, and My Life. I would recommend My Life as it's the bigger and main book of Mosley. Is that written by Mosley? Is that a My Life written by Mosley? Because if so, I'm getting that tomorrow. That sounds good. If it's genuinely Oswald Mosley, his autobiography, My Life, that would be an incredible read. Thomas, thank you for another awesome live stream. As always, keep up your fantastic work and take care of yourself with the heat. Thank you for tuning in. I'm not sure if you're leaving or what, but we still have a whole other segment to go through, and it's almost 9:30. Hey, I promised bigger and better shows. I promised. I'm delivering. I'm sweating my arse off, and fan is on max, but I'm delivering. The shows are probably going to be going on longer than 9:30 now, probably. Who knows? But yeah. It looks more curly. I've always wanted curly, but it was flat for so long. Only the last 6 months has my hair begun to go wavy/curly, and hopefully it gets more curly, but it's all genetics. Yeah, I would agree. My hair is definitely more curly. It is a blessing. Honestly, the accusations when I was growing up, did you have a perm? How often do you get your... Genuinely, people from my old college, because I went to a different college before I moved to the one I'm currently at. But I mean, even people in this college are like, "Oh, Tom, where'd you get your perm done? Or how often? That's a nice perm." Like, being genuine, complimenting me. "Wow, how often do you get it permed?" I'm like, "I don't." They're like, "Come on." I'm like, "No, this is actually natural. It's actually just natural." It's unbelievable to mog this hard anymore. It's unbelievable. People just can't get their head around the market. Just can't accept it anymore. And it's unfortunate getting the allegations of perming my hair, because these losers, they have to perm their hair they just can't. They're just jealous. They can't they can't comprehend. But yeah, I would say definitely more curly. Also, what do we think? I've gone for a bit of a shorter haircut this time. I've been having it long. Um, I've been having it more long lately, and now that I've had it short, I personally prefer this length than my old length. But let me know. What do you guys think? Better short or long? What do we think? Um, yes, My Life is written by Oswald Mosley. God, we'd be such good friends if we knew each other IRL. I'm getting that book. I need to get that book. But anyways, I've been reminded by Craig that it is 20 past 9, and we still have a whole other segment to go off. The Burnham segment took a lot longer than I thought it would. Bit of a rant going on, but getting into our other topic of the evening, the immigration cover-up. So David Lanning and the Ministry of Justice has taken formal legal action to block the publication of crime rates amongst foreign nationals. So to flesh that out a little bit, to make that a bit more proper. So let me just read this. The Ministry of Justice is appealing a ruling by the Information Commissioner's Office that ordered the government to release conviction data broken down by nationality for 2018 to 2024. Now, I don't know about you, but I do think that what could that spell out? Quick Q&A, quick, while I refill my water. I'm dying of thirst. I'm absolutely dying of thirst. Yeah, quick, delivering a question to the audience. What do you think? Live chat, what do you think? Why would they want to do this? Why would they want to cover up or reject or try and appeal a ruling that would release conviction data broken down by nationality between 2018 and 2024? Now, for context, between 2018 and 2024, there was a huge explosion in non-EU immigration to Britain. So this is a lot of immigration coming from the third world, and just filling up my water quickly. But a lot of immigration coming from the third world. Now, a lot of what the online right and me personally are saying about third world immigration and what some crime statistics do back us up on, some independent surveys, some independent crime statistics analytics does back us up on, is that third world immigrants are committing a lot of crime. Now, the highest committing... Okay, we are making an executive change to the channel. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm already being censored on YouTube anyway. We've got a video on that coming soon as well. I'm already being censored on YouTube, man. Okay, we don't going to do this grape shit anymore. We're just going to go on to the actual word. We're just going to say rape. We're going to be grown-ups. I'm already being censored. It's already happening. Who cares anymore? Been there, done that. We're just going to use the word now. Okay, who cares? Just moving on. That whole bit is over. Okay, there's no more. There's no more. We're already being censored anyway. It's fine. But yes, so the highest nationality for rapes in Britain is Afghani. So the Afghani immigrants, third world immigrants, come over and are the highest perpetrating nationality when it comes to rape cases. Now, of course, you also have the Pakistani Muslim rape gangs. The ringleader of the Rochdale grooming gang, a Pakistani man. Okay, so why else? Yeah, that's what I was saying. So the massive influx, the massive explosion of non-EU, third world immigration to the UK, legal and illegal. I believe net immigration is taken based on legal and regular immigration instead of illegal and irregular. But yeah, so a lot of third world immigrations flooded into the country. And since then, rape cases have skyrocketed. You're no longer safe walking around London, the multicultural capital of Britain. 35% white, native British now, I believe. But it's just not safe. The country's no longer safe for women, for children, for a lot of people, to be honest. A lot of people are being stalked, kidnapped, raped, murdered by what does turn out to be third world immigrants. The Southport killer, Axel Rudikabana, is a second gen, or I think he was second gen, African migrant. So, of course, the Ministry of Justice does not want to release the conviction data, which is broken down by nationality between 2018 and 2024, because the reason why we know all these statistics currently, and I can actually make, and a lot of people on the right do make these judgments against the third world, against third world immigration, against non-EU immigration, that whole genre of immigration and immigrants, is because that we can see in news headlines who is committing the crimes. Axel Rudikabana. We have the Pakistani fuck that guy. If Pakistan won't take him back, deport him to Afghanistan. If they won't take him back, reintroduce the death penalty and get him gone, as far as I'm concerned. He is a degenerate piece of shit. Okay? Degenerate piece of shit. If we can't deport him, then we just execute him. Very, very simple stuff. Very simple stuff. But yes, the man, I can't remember his name, but he is Pakistani. I believe he is Pakistani born, Pakistani of nationality, and he immigrated to the UK. Yeah, that would be the case, because the government would never deport someone that was born in the UK. So he is an immigrant from Pakistan. So we can make these assumptions, and we can make these actual pattern recognition based assumptions off of this type of immigration due to the people that are committing the crimes in news headlines. We can also see, because of independent crime data surveys, independent crime data analysis that is released by independent sources, also confirms what we are saying. It also confirms that Afghanis are the highest perpetrators of rape by nationality. I believe Somali is very high up on that list. Actually, the bottom of the list is native British, or white British. As well, the government would classify us as white British. I just say native British, or the indigenous people of Britain. But let's just use their wording. So white British is actually the lowest offending group when it comes to rape cases in the UK. It's clearly, feminists will say it's a man problem. Oh, don't trust men. Men will rape you to death, or whatever they say. But it's not a man problem. It's an immigrant problem. But that just doesn't click. The women are more, or these feminists are more, find it more comfortable to base it off an entire gender, an entire sex, as opposed to per nationality, which is actually a completely reasonable way of breaking something down. You go, rape cases are massively going up. You need to educate your children. No, we need to deport the third world from our country, and rape cases will plummet. We look at Poland. Poland is one of the most ethnically, what's the word? I don't want to pronounce this wrong. I look like an absolute idiot. Homogenous? Did I cook? Homogenous, that's the right word, isn't it? Homogenous. So Poland is the most ethnically homogenous country in Europe, and it also just so happens to have the lowest recorded rape cases out of all of Europe. The UK has hundreds of thousands of non-EU third world immigrants flooding into the country illegally and legally, and our rape cases are the highest. Who would have thought? Just look at the statistics, look at the data. Okay, it's not about the man. It's not about men doing this. It's about immigrants doing this. Break it down reasonably. Let's look at this reasonably. You can't generalize, you need to teach your sons. No. Deport the third world. I mean, yes, of course, don't get, whoa. Of course. Teach children not to rape people. Of course. I'm not saying stop doing that. Of course, that's very important. Teach everyone. Don't assault anyone in any capacity. But that's not going to stop these illegal 30-year-old fighting age men from Afghanistan and Pakistan from coming over and raping a bunch of people, is it? Because actually, white British is the lowest offending nationality in the country for rape. But as well, I think by their decision to do this, they are trying to cover this up because the government can always say, even though with no legal basis, even though with no factual basis, and go, that report is biased. That report is wrong. You don't even have to back it up. You're the government. If there's no evidence that is released by the government, they can very easily say that this data is wrong, that this data is false, and it is just to incite anti-immigrant sentiment, and it's all just a racist psyop, and we'll all move on and sing Kumbaya with oh, excuse me, and we'll all sing Kumbaya with the millions upon millions of third world immigrants in the country. Am I losing my voice? I think I'm losing my voice slightly. But yeah, because I'm losing my voice and beginning to choke a little bit. Have I got anything else to say? I don't know. It really is. Oh, what I was saying, it's a lot easier to excuse independent investigations, even though they are factually true based off of other evidence we do see. It does correlate. These statistics do correlate. But of course, the government, it's a lot easier to slap down independent investigations as the government if there is no government-led or a government report released. But let's say if one were to be released, then that would make the government's argument for multiculturalism just completely unpalatable. So David Lammy, who is an ethnically African man, is trying to cover up rapes and crimes committed by Africans and Middle Eastern men, mainly. And I think that really does just spell out what Britain has become today when we do have an ethnically African man running our justice, used to be running our justice ministry, the Ministry of Justice, and then trying to cover up crimes committed by Africans and Middle Eastern individuals, or men, Middle Eastern men. That really does say what we've become, where we are as a country, that it just all goes to show how far we've fallen. We're a complete laughingstock. We're not even a functional country anymore. We're not. It all just needs to go. It needs to go. We need to be completely honest. We need to, yes, a big part of crime statistics, I would know this because I do study criminology. I know this. And a very important part of crime statistics is actually being able to identify who the individual is. You have to sort them out between men, women, by gender, by sex. They're technically considered two different things, I guess, when it comes to the legal system, but I'm just going to say whether they're a man or a woman, how old they are, how rich they are, and by nationality and ethnicity. They don't do religious yet, I don't think, but they do nationality-based crime data because it's important. That's just something to do with it. The whole point of crime data and statistics is data and statistics surrounding criminals. That's the whole point, so that you can better inform policing policy. That's the whole point. If you ignore that, if you ignore a major part or you cover up a major part of crime statistics, then you're not going to fix anything. You're not going to fix any problem. You're not going to stunt the growth of crime, which we are seeing. We're seeing a crime epidemic in the UK. It's shifting away from knives. People aren't being stabbed as much as they used to be, which is an outrageous sentence to say, because no one should be getting stabbed. But there are less people being stabbed, but there are a lot more people being raped. And that's just the honest truth. We have a crime epidemic, we have stalking epidemic, rape epidemic, still have a stab epidemic. It's just out of order. With theft, petty theft, burglary, all the sorts. We have an epidemic, and you are not going to solve that epidemic by covering up key parts of crime data, of criminal statistical data. We do need to be reporting and collecting data on who these people are, everything about them, so you can make an accurate inference on the average person committing each crime. But of course, the government doesn't want to do that, because the second you start doing that and making it public, people realise that actually maybe third world immigrants aren't a good idea for being here. Maybe third world immigrants don't belong here. Oh well, those third world immigrants really do treat women like shit, don't they? Which people are catching on to anyway, but this would just give so much more legitimacy behind that argument. And it is disgusting that we are suppressing the voices of thousands, tens, hundreds, millions of women and children for decades. We are sacrificing people at the altar of multiculturalism and tolerance and acceptance. You know what? I'm intolerant against criminals. I have no tolerance for criminals, for rapists, for murderers, for any of those people. Anyone committing any crime, I have no tolerance for. I'm not inclusive of those people. And if it just so happens that the people committing these crimes, or a large portion, or a decent portion of the people committing those crimes are third world immigrants, then yeah, so what? I'm intolerant. So what? Because you know what? I don't think we should be inclusive of people who don't bring anything of substance like that to our country. Because these people clearly don't. They are very high up on the welfare bill. A lot of them don't have jobs. A lot of them, well, I mean, especially illegally, get free housing, free mobile phones, of course, welfare. And a lot of them also commit heinous crimes. So yeah, paint me intolerant, don't give a shit. Paint me whatever you want, don't give a shit. I'm against third world immigration. I'm against it because we tried it. You know what? We gave it a go. We gave it a go. We were warned not to by multiple people. Mosley, Powell, multiple people said, no, this isn't a good idea. The establishment went, fuck it, they should go about and do it anyway. Turned out to not be a good idea. Hey, we gave it a go. You know what? We'll just draw a line in the sand and get them gone. Okay? That's my take anyway. It's just disgusting in my opinion. I read that and I was absolutely outraged. I was not surprised to figure out or to see who was leading the charge. But you know. We'll get onto the live chat now, see what you guys are saying, so that we can all get off to bed. Personally, me, I'm not. Quick beer to cool down, you know me. Quick Corona to cool down. My post-show beer to cool down. A reward for a great show. It's been a great show tonight. This is honestly my best work. Genuinely, this is my best work. This is by far the best show I've done. Honestly, you're welcome. Honestly, I'm preferring this style. I'm preferring. I made a community post after England went out by Argentina from the World Cup. I said, right, we are locking in now. Bigger and better shows, bigger and better videos. We are now. I'm releasing edited videos now. I'm editing videos and answering your questions. This Saturday. Or Sunday, I'm not quite sure. We have a stream or live show funny moments or best moments coming up. That is going to be a blast. So stay tuned for that. But we are locking in. Bigger and better shows, better videos, bigger and better projects, more time spent, more effort. We are locking in. The movement is real. Everything will be for Britain. Everything will be for Britain. I can promise you that now. We are all locking in. So this is honestly my best work. To be honest, honestly my best work. Not to self-glaze too much. Honestly, my best work. But yeah, we'll go through a few of the live chats, and I will be leaving it there after looking through a few of these live chats. Let's see what you guys have to think or have to say about the migrant crime cover-up. You look a bit younger with short hair, Thomas. Really? My mom says that I look older. What do we think? My mom thinks I look older with longer hair. No, with short hair. My mom thinks I look older. She says it makes me look more mature. Makes me look older and more mature with the shorter hair, but I don't know. I don't know. Thomas, I'm not going, but watching you is far better than the method that's been coming out on YouTube and TV. Thomas, I'm not going, but watching you is far better than the methane that's been. I know that's where honestly I like to hear that. I like to hear that people find the show and me refreshing. That's what I'm aiming for. Okay, I'm tired of it too. I'm tired of inhaling just the absolute fart gas that is coming from a lot of the political establishment, political media outlets. That's why I try and report on facts as well. I give an impartial take. I give you the facts. That's been the whole structure of the videos, at least. I give if there is a story when it comes to breaking down facts or where there are facts involved or it's a news story, I give you the facts. Then I make sure to separate when it goes on to being my opinion and my take. Because I know some people do watch me for the news. Some people do genuinely watch me somehow for their news. I do have a lot of, not a lot, but I have a few Green watchers, a few Green people watching my videos, some Lib Dems. I haven't seen that one Lib Dem guy for a little while. But you know, people that would not agree with my position are watching my videos to get the facts because I do give impartial facts. So that's what I try and go for as well. So I'm glad you find it more palatable than the establishment, and of course the show. Try and add a bit of an entertainment factor to that, if I can. You know, a bit of fun with the edited videos as well, answering your questions, the funny moments, all of that, and then just general videos talking about my opinion, my take. So I try and mix and match because I know people watch my content for different reasons. So I try and keep it different so that everyone can enjoy at least something. I'm going for mid to long hair at the moment. I had it short my entire life, so trying something else. I was bald to maybe you could consider it a buzz cut. It was a bad buzz cut. When I was younger, I had such short hair. Proper buzz cut down. Then I think it was during lockdown, I grew it out on like long on the sides and the top. I grew it out, got a bit of a haircut down, and it was unruly on the top. And then I styled it out a little bit so it was still messy, like with what you've seen with my hair previously. It's messy, but kind of styled messy, if that makes sense. But now I'm going for something a bit more neat. So I don't know. I prefer this personally, but hey, we'll have to. Well, we'll just see where the wind takes me. Long hair might become a nightmare in summer, especially with the heat wave happening currently. It really is. It really is. It was at least the first. I think in the first heat wave, I had to style my hair in curtains to keep it off my forehead. Now, I'm not a big fan. I do think a curtains hairstyle looks nice, but it doesn't suit me, especially not with how curly my hair is. I think I've done 3 videos with that. I think one was when it was wet and raining outside, so I just kind of threw my hair back to keep the water out of my eyes. That was when I was walking around. And then I think the prediction comparison video, it was boiling hot. So I wanted to keep my hair off my forehead. And I think I had an eyelid infection as well. So I wanted to keep the hair off my eyes. But yeah, it is a nightmare. So this is so much better. Because, I'm still sweating a bit when it comes to the forehead, but, it's a lot better. The Greater Britain Fascism 100 questions asked and answered fascism for the million. My life / the alternate. That's your recommendations. Oh yeah, I'll have to check out My Life and the Greater Britain. I think that those all sound very interesting, to be honest. This government is a threat to national security. Every government for decades has been, because they've just been importing thousands upon that, millions upon millions of people, despite electoral mandates to cut down on immigration, but they just keep bringing them in and in and in. Every government recently has been a national security threat. The past few and this one, the Boris Johnson government was biohazardous. That was egregious from Johnson. Starmer was no better. I don't think he was much better at all. And Burnham will be worse, I think. But we'll have to see how that pans out. When I was your age, Thomas, London was 90% white. Fact. I was born there. Now it's 35%. How anyone can say that the Great Replacement theory is just neo-Nazi, fascist, racist bullshit, or is a conspiracy theory, is off their rocker. Okay, because you can look at any demographic data and figure out, oh, the native white people are going away. We are becoming less and less of a percentage of the demographics of the country, and that is demographic replacement. So I don't know what these people are smoking, but they need to lay off it for a little while. A lot of people agreeing with my take. Agreed, 100%. Yes, correct. Thomas for Prime Minister. Whoa! Whoa! Hold on. I like you. Who are you? Matt Foster. Someone mod that guy. Someone give that guy VIP. Hello. Thomas. I like the ring of... sorry for the... what am I trying to say? Table shake, sorry, the desk shake. Yeah, thank you, Thomas for Prime Minister. Come on. Don't unpack your going back. Can we get a few... Are there any channel members in that we can get a few you're going back Rupert Lowe emojis? If we can get a few of them going, that would be amazing. Diagnose the problem, it goes away, simple. Yeah, if you don't know what the problem is, or you're not willing to face what the problem is, you can't ever fix. I'm seeing a few you're going back, so come on, let's go. Let's go. If you're not willing to accept what the problem is, you're never going to fix it. It's just that simple. Oh, and I've reset, hang on. From Migration Observatory, from 2018 to 2025, nationals of 6 countries accounted for 65% of all arrivals. Iran, 16%, Afghanistan, 14%, Iraq, 10%, Eritrea, 10%, Albania, 8%, and Syria, 8%. All of those just need to be red listed. I'm under that impression that we just need to red list all of those. He even said he had African descent. Lammy shouldn't be anywhere near office, 100%. If you are proud of African descent, why are you governing a European, an Anglo-Saxon country? Go elsewhere. Go. You know what I'm trying to get at? That's just ridiculous. Why would you try and govern? We're getting it. I love the spamming of the EFB logo. I'm so glad I changed it. The old one was shit. Funny story behind the logo change, actually. I remember, I can't remember when it was, but it was a good while ago. The old Everything for Britain logo, which was proper shit. It was proper shit. But I think on the post that I pinned to my ex, where I said, "Hey, I'm running a live show, Everything for Britain," then the logo. I think it was Hugh Anthony. He commented on that, saying, "Oh, it looks familiar," and then a photo of the Prioritise Britain logo. And I woke up at like 3 a.m. For some reason, I couldn't sleep, and I looked through my ex. I was like, "Oh, that's." I've seen a few clips from that guy, and then I looked and went, "Oh shit, he thinks I'm copying him." I'm like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it. I've never even seen that logo before," which I hadn't, but I'd never seen that logo before. I'll change it, and then I designed a new one, which ended up being that one. And then in the morning, anyway, he said, "Oh, I was joking." No, you don't have to change it. I'm just joking. I went, "Oh, I've already changed it now," and then I just changed it to that one. It's so much better. It's leaps and bounds better. What does everyone think? Is the EFB logo tough? Do we enjoy the EFB logo? I think it's tough. Thomas, we know that if one of the lefties were targeted by one of the migrants, they wouldn't sit back and do nothing. They honestly probably would. And that has happened. There has been cases of, I can't remember the exact cases, but migrants, I mean, you literally have cases of Muslims marching through the streets of Tower Hamlets, and Muslims, these, balaclavaed up, masked up Muslims, are shoving these woke, DEI protesters, left-wing radicals out the way. They're shoving them. And this one radical went, "Hey, don't shove. We're on the same side." And he went, "No, you're not, mate. No, we're not, mate. We're not on the same side, mate." And it's like, it's just blaringly obvious that radical left-wing socialism and highly socially conservative Islamism isn't going to mix. They both are fundamentally very different in ideology. This whole queers for Palestine, go and be gay in Gaza. Go and be, well, if you go and be gay in Gaza, you're going to get blown up either way. Go and be gay in the Palestinian Authority. Go and be gay in Iraq. Go and be gay in Iran. Go and be gay in Afghanistan. See how that goes for you. It doesn't mix, but people still, people still give it a go. We're going to skip. My apologies if I skip past anyone's. We're skipping forward to the front of the queue a little bit, so we can get gone soon. Okay, don't mention Messi. Don't mention Messi. Oh, watching him cry was gas. That was gas. Fuck Messi. Fuck Netanyahu. Fuck the state of Israel. Be calm. I pushed my hair back, keeping off my forehead a bit before of my acne. That's fair enough. Ever meet up with Angloid? Yes, me and Angloid have spoken a few times. I have him on Snap. We speak rarely on Snap. Very rarely. We don't talk much at all. But I met up with him after the campaigning in Great Yarmouth for Restore Britain. We met up, spoke a little bit. He's short. He's a short guy. No shade, but he's short. I kind of did frame mug him a little bit. I was way taller than him. I did kind of frame mug him a little bit. No shade, no hate, no shade. Yes, spamming the "you're going back" in the FB logo. Absolutely. Before Before I supported Labour. I don't know what that's in relation to. A few people talking about someone that Ank is talking about. Saw that one, Thomas. Saw that one? What did you see? What was I even talking about that you could have seen? Oh, you talking about you saw the messages that me and Hugh Anthony exchanged about the Everything for Britain logo. The values of Islamic civilization is completely polar opposite of British civilization, Christian Mose. It's true. It's just stark opposite. I mean, I said this. I don't know if you watched the first show I did with Modern Anglo, but I said, I mean, the whole thing with Christianity. It's, oh, my God is the God for me. I believe in my God. He is the Father. He is the Savior. I believe He is my Savior. That kind of thing. I believe He's my Savior. That type of thing. But then Islam is like, my God's the final God. Allah is the final God. And it's like, whoa, what's the rhetoric shift? Christians are open and accepting, and He's my Savior. I don't care what you believe in, but He's my Savior. And then Islam is like, my God's the final God. He's the only real God. Screw your God. I'm going to conquer your country and make you submit to Islam. We'll go door to door and everyone will commit to Islam. It's like, whoa, calm down, bro. It's calm down, But yeah, that's the point I made with Modern Angler, and I stick by that. Yes, this is now go for nationalist content and less merch. Yeah, I don't really care about the money. I really don't care about the money. I don't care about the clout. I don't care about any of that. Okay? I don't care about how many views I get. I don't care about how many people are subscribed, how many people tune in, if you donate or not, if eventually when merch does come around, which it will, not to make money, but to advertise. It's advertisement. It's advertising the Everything for Britain movement. It's advertising that ideology, which I do want to get across. That's why I named the show that. I named the show Everything for Britain and designed a logo so that we can advertise this new ideology, this new way of thinking, this new movement of, well, actually, we do want everything for Britain. Everything. This is the core part of the ideology that we run on this show. everything that the British government should do, every decision we make, should be in some way within the interests, the exclusive or just general interests of the British state or her peoples. Everything we do should be for Britain, by Britain. That is my ideology. That is what I stand by. That's why I named the show what the show is called. That is why I do this, to get that across. We are everything for Britain. We want everything for Britain. And that's why, the logo exists. The show is named that. And eventually, why EFB merch will eventually become available when it becomes viable to do that. So it's not, for me, it's not about money. I mean, I what I make off of the show isn't being spent on me. It's being actually reinvested back into the show for better upgrades, so I can then, maybe start subscribing to thumbnail making software, so that we can begin to upgrade the general quality of the channel. That is what it's a reinvestment back in. The money isn't for me. I don't care about the money. Don't care. Don't care about the views, don't care about the money, don't care about the clout, don't care about selling merchandise, which I'm not yet, but I don't care about it. I don't care about if you do sign up for your channel member. So I always say, here's the channel membership, here's the benefits. I've made it as cheap as possible. It helps support me, all that kind of good stuff. If you can't or don't want to, you don't have to. It's fine. I don't care. That's why I made it. I tried to make it a big point. Tried to really drive it home when I announced that the channel was now monetized. That I am not doing ads for companies. It annoys me when you see Tucker Carlson do like 5 different ads, or Joe Rogan do 5 different ads during his show. It's like, no one wants to see that. I am not a sellout. My voice will not be bought. I will not be funded by anyone besides the supporters of Everything for Britain. I'm not being funded anywhere else besides you guys. And that is how I will have it forever. For the entire time that I run this show, I run this movement, the entire time that we exist as a group, that is how we will run it. That's my model. That's what I do. That's what I like to do. Let's have a see. Saw the tweets on Twitter. Yeah, okay. I'm guessing that's where a few of you have seen that conversation between me and Hugh Anthony. Follow you there and take a look many times a day. Fair play. I love the expatriates. Whoever I think it's Nathan Bliss. He advertises pretty much everything I do on YouTube, whether it's a major announcement in the community notes, or a video, or a show, or a short, whatever it is. You are my goat. I love the X supporters as well. If you don't follow me on X, you should absolutely go and follow me on X. I shit post all the time. I'm just posting every day. Pretty much. I post a lot about other stuff. Like I made a post a few days ago about because when I was in Worcester, there was this grown ass couple play fighting next to me in a public park, and I was just mentioning it on X. So yeah, go follow me on X. It's not terrible content, Really like your chats with the other Thomas. I enjoy chatting with him too. I really do. We've we talk off and on in DMs a lot as well. He's probably the main person I keep in contact with when it comes to the online space. Of course, I speak to Laminant's podcast still. I keep in touch with Angloid every now and then, and that kind of sort. But yeah, Modern Anglo Tom is my goat. My goat. We talk all the time. We've said that we're going to do more shows in the future as well. Looks like I'm going to be a regular on his podcast. He's going to be a regular on my channel. So great stuff. Love Tom. Love to hear more from him. We'll do the last few. I don't have to be paying this membership, but I love the community. Been driving for a Discord, one can only hope, and I enjoy your content, Thomas. Always look forward to Mondays. Glad to hear it. The Discord, some kind of community chat forum is kind of in the works. It's off and on in the works. I'm definitely thinking about it. I think the way to get around it, I'm going to be providing it for channel members only, so that you'll all be able to talk. Mate, I don't know. We might do it in stages. We might do it in stages so that there is just a general everything for Britain group chat, maybe on Discord or something. Who knows? And then we can also get a membership chat room as well. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, something like that would be nice. I need to get it right though, because I don't want people, shit posting or infiltrating or anything like that. That's the thing with a movement like this. You have to be careful that no one infiltrates. Okay, especially with the audience I have. I do have some left-wing audience members. So you just got to be careful that no one infiltrates. That's the main thing. But yeah. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up there, to be honest. It is late, 10 p.m. Wow. Thank you all so much for an incredible show. It has been my best work. It's been our best work. Incredible chats. Thank you, both Nathans, for the donations. Thank you, everyone, that has participated and tuned in. I really appreciate all the kind words, kind messages, and the kind sentiment from the live chat. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all have a great rest of your evenings. I will see you hopefully live next week on Monday at 8. And of course, if you tune into the videos at all later this week, I will see you then. But until then, thank you for tuning in.